known each other. We went to law school together. He became a lawyer, I became the client. This is a good man. This is somebody who served as a missionary, served in Richmond as city council member, served as your mayor, served as my lieutenant governor, served as a great governor. Let me assure you, in Washington, in the United States Senate, we know we need people who can get things done. Will you send me Tim Kaine? Of the TV ads. How many ready to get back to the American Idol and the X Factor without I prove this now?
Take it.
You know elections matter.
NBC, CNN.
We, of all places in Virginia, know that elections matter.
We need a medic!
Facts matter. And over this campaign, we have seen the other side with countless millions of dollars try to rewrite history. And we are not going to let that happen. We remember 4 years ago, this economy was pushing 800,000 jobs a month. We remember 4 years ago, when we questioned whether the financial institutions would stand. We remember 4 years ago, when every challenge around the world, America was the only one who had to answer the call. We know under this president's leadership, we have seen 5 million new private sector jobs added. We know under this president, the stock market has doubled, and we're finally starting to see the housing market recover. We know under this president, America is once again respected and has allies all across the world. Now we've got more to do. We've got more to do. One comment I want to make. You all know my background before I was governor, before I was senator, I was in business. Anybody here got a cell phone? Yeah. And I'll match my business credentials against anybody, Democrat, Republican, Independent, or Libertarian. And I know when you look at a business plan, you got to make the numbers add up. One of the things this president will take on, because he's put a plan out there, is to try to deal with a crippling debt and deficit. But as a business guy, I've looked at the Romney-Ryan plan. Let me just tell you, some of this, you don't need a business degree. You just need to know arithmetic. Just think about it for a moment. Governor Romney has said he wants to cut taxes for everybody, 20%. That means $5 trillion more to the debt. He wants to then go ahead and add a couple trillion more beyond what the Pentagon's asked defense spending. He then wants to let those at the very top of the Bush tax cuts extend. That is $8 trillion deeper in the hole. Now, how's he going to fix that? He's going to wave a magic wand. He says he's going to get rid of some tax expenditures. Well, let me tell you, if he eliminates everyone's ability to direct their mortgage interest on their home, not just rich people, but everyone, if he eliminates anybody's ability to give to your church, or your hospital, or your university, any charitable deduction for everybody. If he said you can no longer get any credit for health expenses, you can do all of that for everyone, and you don't get close to what he's talked about. I know Business 101. When you are in a hole, if you're going to get out of that hole, the first thing you do is stop digging. What's his plan for the future? Because we know the president's plan. The president has invested in Pell Grants. The president invested in infrastructure. The president realizes our future is a best educated workforce. You know, business, when they invest going forward, they do three things. One, invest in your workforce. because you got to stay competitive. Second, whether you are making widgets or directed software, you invest in plant and equipment to make sure you stay ahead. And in a global economy, you got to have a plan to stay ahead of your competition. Countries do the same thing. When a country invests, we call it education, workforce training. When a country invests in its plant and equipment, we call it infrastructure, roads, bridges, broadband. When a country invests, we invest in research and development to correct and create that next idea. Well, I have looked at the Romney-Ryan business plan for America. They would cut our investments in those areas by 75%. They would have an America that spends less than 5% of its tax dollars educating its workforce, building its roads and bridges, or creating the research and development that's going to create the next generation of jobs. Do you think India's going to have that business plan? Do you think China's going to have that business plan? Do you think Brazil's going to have that business plan? I got to tell you, the Mitt Romney at Bain Capital would never invest in the Mitt Romney business plan for America. And neither will we. We got any students here? This president understands the cost of higher education. He has put investment into Pell Grants and student loans. We need to support that. We got anybody that's tired of driving on congested roads up and down 95 and 64? This president said we need more money for roads, but also for high-speed rail. Are you for that as well? This president understands that his most important job is to keep America safe. And it was this president, our commander-in-chief, who took out Osama bin Laden. And it's this president who understands that we owe our greatest debt of gratitude to our veterans and their military families. You know, and I know, in 2008, it was Virginia that elected Barack Obama. In 2008, we changed the guard. In 2012, we guard the change. Say it with me. In 2008, we changed the guard. In 2012, we guard the change. My fellow Virginians, please help me in welcoming our
secret ballot. But the good news is Michelle said she voted for me. And I've come to Virginia today to ask you for your vote. In keeping America moving forward. You've now seen 3 debates, months of campaign events, and way too many TV commercials. So you heard what the argument's about here. You understand what the choice is. You've heard Governor Romney's sales pitch. He's been running around, no, don't move, vote. He's been running around saying he's got a 5-point plan for the economy. Turns out it's a 1-point plan. Folks at the very top get to play by a different set of rules than you do. They get to pay a lower tax rate. They get to outsource jobs. They want to roll back Wall Street reforms that we put in place to make sure we don't have taxpayer-funded bailouts. That was his philosophy in the boardroom. That was his philosophy as governor. And if it sounds familiar, it's because that's exactly what we tried in the last decade. Before I came into office, it led to falling incomes and record deficits, the slowest job growth in half a century, and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We have now been working for 4 years to clean up the mess those policies left behind. And now Governor Romney wants to take us back to those policies, but he knows that they're probably not very popular. He knows his plan isn't any different than the policies that got us into trouble. So, in the final weeks of this election, he's counting on you forgetting. He's hoping that you come down with a case of what we call amnesia. He's hoping you won't remember that his economic plan is more likely to create jobs in China than it is in America. Because it actually rewards companies that ship jobs and profits overseas. He's hoping you won't remember that he wants to give millionaires and billionaires a $250,000 tax cut because the only way he can pay for that tax cut is by raising your taxes or blowing a hole in the deficit. He's hoping that you'll come down with a severe case of amnesia before you cast your ballot. But Richmond, I want you all to know this. This is a curable disease. If you feel any symptoms coming up, you're starting to get a little woozy. Your eyes are getting a little blurred. Some ringing in your ears. If you can't remember what you said just a week ago. If you can't remember the plans on your own website. And you're worried you might be coming down with a case of amnesia. I want you to know Obamacare covers pre-existing. All you got to do is vote. But this goes to a pretty serious issue. The most serious issue of any presidential contest, and that is the issue of trust. Trust matters. You know, you want to know that whoever's in the Oval Office is going to fight for you. You want to know that they're not just going to take the politically expedient path. That they're guided by a compass in terms of how are we going to make sure the American people have a chance to succeed if they're working hard, and more importantly, that the next generation is going to have the kind of America we want them to have. And you know what? You know me. You know I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. We haven't finished all the work we set out to do in 2008 just yet, but every single day I set foot in the Oval Office, you know I'm thinking about you. I'm fighting for your family. We have met major commitments that I made 4 years ago. I told you we'd end the war in Iraq. We did. I said we'd end the war in Afghanistan. We are. We focus on the terrorists who actually attacked us on 9/11. Al-Qaeda's on the path to defeat and Osama bin Laden is dead. There's a new tower rising above the New York skyline. Our heroes are coming home. I've kept those promises. I was proud and humbled to learn that we have Colin Powell's support in this campaign. I'm grateful to him for his lifetime of service to his country, both as a soldier and as a diplomat. And every brave American who wears this uniform of this country should know that as long as I'm your commander-in-chief, we will sustain the strongest military the world has ever known. We will be relentless in pursuit of our enemies. Those are promises I've kept. 4 years ago, I promised to cut middle-class taxes for families and small businesses, and we have. I promised not only to end taxpayer-funded Wall Street bailouts, but I said we get every dime of money that was used to rescue the financial system we have with interest.
Thank you.
I promised we'd repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Today, that Americans don't go bankrupt when they get sick. And we passed Obamacare. I promised that we could help to young people so they could afford college. I bet on American workers and American ingenuity and saved a dying auto industry that's back on top of the world. On issue after issue, we are moving forward. After losing 9 million jobs in the Great Recession, our businesses have now added more than 5 million new jobs in the last 2.5 years. The unemployment rate is falling. Manufacturing is coming back. Our assembly lines are humming. Housing prices are beginning to rise. We've got a long way to go, Virginia. But we've come too far to turn back now. We can't afford to go backwards to the same policies that got us into this mess. We've got to go forward with the policies that are getting us out of this mess. And that's why I'm running for a second term. And I need your help. I've got a plan that will actually create jobs. I just talk about creating jobs. A plan that will actually create middle-class security, not just use the words, but not deliver on the promise. Unlike my opponent, I'm actually proud to talk about what's in my plan. Because the arithmetic works. If you want to take a careful look at it, go to BarackObama.com/plans. I want you to share it with your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers. There's still people out there who are undecided trying to make up their minds. Maybe somebody in this crowd got dragged by your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Your grandma said, you got to go to the Obama rally. And you said, all right, Grandma. But you're not yet convinced. Take a look at this plan. Compare it to what Governor Romney's plans are. See which plan you think is better for you. I want you to have the information you need to make an educated choice about this issue, about America's future and your own. I want to end tax breaks for companies that are shipping jobs overseas. I want to give those tax breaks to companies that are investing in Richmond. Helping small businesses and manufacturers create jobs right here at home. That's a priority. in half by 2020 so we control more of our own energy. Because of what we've done to increase oil production and natural gas production, to invest in clean coal technology, to make sure that we're also investing in the clean energy source of the future like wind and solar and biofuels. We today are less dependent on foreign oil than any time in the last 2 decades. We passed regulations to make sure that fuel standards on cars and trucks are doubled so that you'll go twice as far on a gallon of gas. That'll save you money. That's good for our national security. It's good for our environment. I want to build on that progress. I don't want the cars of the future, long-lasting batteries, wind turbines, solar panels. I don't want them made in China. I want them made right here in Virginia. Here in the United States. We can do that. Number 3, I want to make it a national mission to educate our young people. I want to recruit 100,000 math and science teachers. We got to step it up when it comes to math and science and technology. I want to train 2 million workers that are outstanding community colleges so they've got the skills to get the jobs that are out there right now. And I want to work with colleges and universities to cut the growth of tuition in half. When they're pursuing the education they need to compete. We can do that. Number 4, my plan will cut the deficit by $4 trillion over the next 10 years in a balanced way. Yes, we're going to cut spending we don't need. We've already cut $1 trillion, but I'm going to ask the wealthiest to pay a little bit more. So we can invest in the research and technology that will keep new jobs and businesses coming to America. And I'm in the process of making sure that we're reducing our deficit. I'm not going to turn Medicare into a voucher program. No American should spend their golden years at the mercy of insurance companies. And you know what? I think we've seen again this week. I don't think any male politician should be making health care decisions for women. Fixing our roads and our bridges, repairing our schools, laying out broadband lines in the rural communities so they can compete in the global economy. And when our veterans come home, we are going to make sure we've got the resources to serve them as well as they serve us, because nobody who fights for this country should have to fight for a job or a roof over their heads or the care they need when they come home. This is the plan we need, Virginia. This is how you build a strong, sustainable economy. This is how you create good, middle-class jobs. This is how you encourage new businesses to start here and to stay here. This is how you increase take-home pay. This is how you build an economy where everybody who works hard has a chance to get ahead. That's what we can do together. But it's up to you, Virginia. You're going to have to make a choice. It's up to the young people here to decide what kind of future you want for yourselves. It's up to the not-so-young people like me and some of you to make sure we make the right choice for future generations. Sure, we can choose the top-down policies that got us into this mess.
Did you like my picture?
But I think we have to choose the policies that are getting us out of this mess.
That's right.
You can choose a foreign policy that's wrong and reckless, or you can choose one that's steady and strong.
Yes.
You can choose to turn back the clock 50 years for women and immigrants and gays, or stand up for that basic principle that's enshrined in our founding documents, that we're all created equal. Everybody has a voice in America. And it doesn't matter who you are, or what you look like, or where you come from, or who you love, black or white, Native American, young, old, rich, poor, gay, straight, able or disabled. It doesn't matter. You have a place in America. If you try, that's what's best in our country. That's what we're fighting for. Virginia, we've been through some tough times, but we always bounce back. Because the American people are always tougher than any tough times. We always come out on top because we pull together. Because we look after one another. Because we don't leave people behind. We don't close the door behind us if we're successful. We open it up a little wider so folks can walk through. We don't turn back. We look forward. And then distant horizon and the next destination. Our destiny is not waiting for us, it's written by us. And we're going to write that next chapter together. That's why I'm asking for your vote in this election. I'm asking for your vote. And I promise you, if you give me 4 more years,